All right, Ken Orange, Theory Trader, back with you with a video showing you how to back test risk management models. And look, we have to be intentional about managing risk because the thing is, any method can work with proper risk management. That's what I believe. But the thing that you're most have to be most intentional about is not your trading process. It's how you manage the money in your trading account. Can you grow it or are you constantly losing it? So what I have for you are 12 models here. I'll go through them and then we're going to flip a coin to simulate our trading results. First model is 1 to 3, risking 4% per trade. The next one is 1 to 3, risking 2% per trade. We have 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, risking 5% per trade. And we have 1 to 1, risking 10% per trade. And we're going to start with a $200 account balance. I'm going to do 10 trades on a small account and then 10 trades with a large one. I'm not here to convince you of which method is better than the other. I'm just going to say, use your best judgment and see what appeals the most to you. Now, this is going to be no compounding. This is straight trading, and we're going to see who makes the most after 10 trades. So here we go. If the coin lands on heads, that'll be a win. If it lands on tails, it'll be a loss. So first trade number 1 is a loss. So we'll update the balances, and the losses are already here. So this will be 192, 196, 190, 180. And we're going to do a 5 trade check-in after we go through our first 5. And that's another loss. 184, 192, 181, 162. Another trade, trade number 3. That is a winner. All right. So 206, 204, 199, 178. Next trade is another winner. 231, 216, 219, 196. Okay, this will be trade number 5. Then we'll do our check-in. A loser. 222, 212, 208, and 176. So all of these traders have the same win rate at this point. I wasn't keeping track of wins and losses. I'm just randomizing these results. That was 5 trades. So after 5 trades, this trader has made 22 bucks. This trader has made 12 bucks. This trader has made 8 bucks. And this trader has lost money. They lost 24 bucks if my math is right. I could be wrong. Okay, but I'm not a math person, but they're down. Everybody else is still in profit. So let's do 5 more and then we'll do a big account example and that'll be it. So this will be trade number 6. And we're going to start off with another loser. 213, 208, 198, 158. Let's go again. Trade number 7 was a winner. 239, 220, 218, 174. Trade number 8. Another winner. Awesome. 268, 233, 240, 191. Trade number 9 is a loser. 257, 228 for this person, 228 for this trader, and 172 for the 1-to-1. And last but not least, trade number 10 was another loser. So we got 247 there, 223 here, 217 there, and 155 for the 1-to-1. Okay, so after 10 trades, okay, this trader made $47, this trader made $23, this trader made $17, and this trader lost, was that $45, I think, if my math is right. I'm not a big math person. But again, these numbers All right, you have to just decide what's best for you, because just because you risk more doesn't mean you're going to make more money, as you've seen here. Okay. And just because you risk less doesn't mean that you're going to be making more as you get a win streak. You have to find that happy medium. All right. Because you notice here, this trader was risking 5% per trade. Okay. On a 1 to 2. And this trader was risking 4% per trade on a 1 to 3. So on a percentage standpoint, this trader was risking more, so you would think they will make more, right? Okay, but so you have to play with the numbers and see what may work for you and what may not. Okay, so I'm not going to say, oh, this is the sweet spot because they made the most money. I'm not saying that. All right, all I'm saying is that you have to determine what works for you. So now we're going to play with the numbers here and do a large account example. So let's do this. Let's do a $10,000 account. All the numbers should update automatically as I enter the balances. And we'll see, okay, is there anything that we can do to our risk management to make it more effective? So let's play with the numbers here. All right, so let's do this. Let's say I want to do here we'll leave that alone because they were the winners, so we'll leave them alone. But here, okay, let's see if I did 3% risk. Here, let's say here, I'll keep that at 5, but I'll go for a 1 to 4. Let's try that. Okay. And then the 1 to 1, let's try that at 5%. Okay, so we're going to update the math real quick. So we're going to risk 3% here. So we'll be risking 3% to get 9%. Right here, it's 1 to 4, risking 5%. So still 5, but let's see here. You know what, yeah, that's fine. 1 to 5, 4. So it's going to be 20. So that's going to be multiplied by 4 instead of 2. We'll do that. Okay. And then this one here, what did I say, 5? Yeah. So we'll change that to 0.5. And that'll be updated to that. Now, here's the thing, though. Typically, mathematically speaking, I want to be transparent here. When you increase your risk to reward, like going for 1 to 4, typically you'll see your win rate decrease. I'm going to be honest. You're not getting 20% per trade is a tall order. So even if this one is ahead, I mean, you could do 1 to 100 on this. Does that mean you're going to get 1 to 100 every single time you trade? No, that's not very likely. Okay. But for the sake of argument, though, let's give it a shot. So let's flip the coin and see what we get. For the first trade, we start out with a winner. So this will be 11,200, 10,900, 12,000, and 10,500. Okay, so just after the first trade, obviously the 1 to 4 risking 5%, but they're risking the highest risk to reward. So of course that's the main reason why. But let's keep going. So this was a loser. So now let's see what happens with this. 10,752, 10,573, 11,400, 975. Okay, so who's still in profit? Everybody except the 1 to 1. Okay, all right, let's go again. Okay, another winner. 12,042, 11,525, 13,680, Then 10, 474. All right. And we'll do 3 more. Okay, another winner. Two more. 15,105. 13,693. 19,699. 11,548. Last trade. Another winner. All right. So after just a few trades, I was like maybe 6 or 7 or so. Let's take a look. Okay, so the 1 to 3 risking 4% made 6,000, almost 7 grand. This trader here risking 3% per trade made about 5 grand. This trader here made 13,000. But keep in mind, all right, keep in mind, because they more than double their account risking 5% per trade because they were getting 1 to 4. They risked 5 to make 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. But at the same time, typically when you go for more, you're going to see your win rate drop. Okay, I just randomized the results though. But your odds of getting 1 to 3 are higher than getting 1 to 4. They just are. Okay, it's easier to get 30 pips than 40 pips for the most part. Okay, and then the 1 to 1 risking 5%, they made a couple grand. All right, so that was that. So again, these are just numbers. You know, you play with the numbers till you figure out what suits you. Okay, but don't get so deceived in thinking that, okay, well then obviously this is the winner, so I'll just do this. I'll risk 5% because if you get enough of a losing streak, because let's just say hypothetically, if you hit, let's say you lose 5 trades in a row doing this one. If you had a loss, that'd be that here. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. And that's 5. Okay. You be down 7 grand. Okay, down to 7 grand rather. All right. I'm taking 5 trades in a row, risking 5%. So that's like 20% of your account. You're losing 5% per time. 5, 10, 15, 20. All right. And it's going to take you that much longer to get back. But if you're risking something more conservative, like 3% or 2%, it's going to be easier to pull yourself out of drawdown, is my point. Okay. So even though you may see this and say, well, I'm just 1 to 4 away from getting all my money back. Yeah, it's possible, but there's nothing to say you can't lose 10 trades in a row. You just don't know. But the point of this, once again, was just go through some risk management models, play with the numbers, and remember, the higher your risk to reward, typically the lower your win rate is going to be. This was just something just for some practice. All right. So you got to play with it, see what you like, and appreciate your time and attention. Have a great rest of your day and take care.